What's up, guys? Undead here again with another spec highlight from the Shadowlands beta. Today we're going to be talking about Marksmanship Hunter. Now, this is a spec that I have not played since the instant aim shot days of Hellfire Citadel. I mained Hunter for like the beginning to middle of Legion, but for whatever reason, because I was still like pretty casual coming into Legion, I just kind of picked Beast Mastery and that was it, and I played Beast Mastery because the way that farm and AP worked and getting legendaries, and I just never got around to really playing Marks during Legion. By the time the end of the expansion happened, I wasn't really playing Hunter anymore, so I haven't touched this in a while, so we're gonna use Wowhead to cheat about what the changes are, because it's not as fresh in my mind. So we'll start with the Hunter specific stuff. For what has changed coming into BFA for this class. Cheetah's the same, Turtle's the same, Pets, Disengage, same, Eagle Eye, Eyes of the Beast is back. That's maybe useful in some niche situations, don't really think so. This is kind of just like button bloat to me. They warned us about button bloat if they unpruned some things, and then they unpruned all the things that nobody wanted back. Seems to be the case on a lot of specs or a lot of classes. This is one of those. There may be some cool stuff where you can like pull for your team with a pet or something like in the classic days. But yeah, Hunter's Mark is back for all three specs. It's instant. It has a 20-second cooldown and it's on the GCD. We hate this. This is, to me, Hunter's Mark is pointless. I think if they took the damage taken effect off of it, it would be cool, because obviously it has some PvP implications, but it feels really terrible to play in PvE. So I think if they just took the damage off of this, I think everybody would be happy. Would help with world PvP with rogues and other stealth classes, could help with stealth classes in arena, and just adds another button to utilize in your kit in arena, which is I think where people actually want this. PvE, I think it's dog. And we got Scare Beast back. Again, PvE uses, probably not many PvP uses, probably not many PvE uses. Useful for fearing pets, catching druids in form. PvE, there will be some small uses with fearing beasts. That, like fearing cast on beasts. The cast time is pretty long though, so it's a little bit tough. I would have rather get something like Scatter baseline than really any of this stuff, but that's okay. Misdirection, also big change to misdirection. One of my biggest annoyances about Hunter forever has been that tricks and misdirect work differently. Whereas misdirect, when you cast it, it goes on cooldown immediately, and it's just an 8-second buff that transfers threat. Now it works like tricks did, where when you cast it, it puts a 30-second buff on you, and once you trigger an attack, the next 8 seconds you transfer threat, so you don't have to instantly hit misdirect. Like, you misdirect pre-pull while you're walking up to a pull, so you don't forget. A lot of times with tanks like running through dungeon on mounts, it's pretty annoying if you miss them before they mount, because you can't misdirect when they mount, and then you're having to remember to hit it mid-pull. Whereas end of a pack, you can just hit misdirect, put the buff up. If your tank mounts, it doesn't matter, the buff's already up, it's got 30 seconds on it. If you get to the next pack, you're still able to use it. So I think this is a very good change. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Very happy it's here. And then Trank Shot is baseline, so you don't need a pet to soothe anymore. So we have a Soothe and a Purge attached to Trank Shot. This will find a lot of use in Mythic Plus. Maybe they'll put some Dispel effects in some of the raids, and this will be useful there, like old niches that Hunter used to have with Trank Shots. Granted, Soothe existing on Druid takes a little bit away from that, but this will just be some extra utility that we get, and that's really nice. As far as marksman stuff goes, Binding Shot is baseline. We'll talk about the talent that was baked in later. Is there anything else really of note? Oh, everything got capped. Okay. Explosive Shot is capped. Multi-Shot is capped. Barrage is capped. This is 6 targets. This is 5 targets. Barrage is 8. Trick Shots is still capped at 5 additional targets. So capped at 6. Volley is uncapped, but Volley is new. We'll talk about that when we get to the talents. And I believe that everything just costs more focus now. Is pretty much it. So everything got capped. Everything costs more focus. Binding Shot went baseline. We got kill shot back across all 3 specs. This is a little bit more useful for marksman. I'm pretty sure it just scales better with marks. And that is it. Oh, concussive shot got a little change. So concussive shot, it works this way for all 3 specs, as far as I know, or maybe the 2 bow wielding specs. So your filler ability, yeah, it's Beastmaster or Marksman. Your filler ability, so Cobra Shot or Steady Shot, extends the duration of concussive shot by 3 seconds. So after you slow something, you then can keep it slowed permanently, essentially. So this will be neat in PvP. It'll be neat for just kiting mobs. Like if there's any, as I lovingly refer to them, bitch jobs in the raid, kind of how Hunter's always been, where it's like kiting a mob or, I don't know, taking care of some mechanic far away from the combat, which has typically been the job of Hunter and Rogues for all of WoW. We kind of got away with that, or away from that the last 2 expansions. There's been less and less of those, you pick the guy to handle this weird thing that happens situations. But if there is, or something needs to be kited, this is pretty helpful. Instead of having to waste a global on concussive, you can refresh it with steady a lot of the time. I believe that's it. That's all that's changed baseline. So not much. The spec is still going to play very similarly to how it played in BFA, from what I understand. Again, I didn't play in BFA, so everything's kind of fresh and new to me, and keep that in mind when I'm sharing my opinion on stuff. But then we have talents. The talents have gotten shifted up a little bit. We're actually going to pull the talent tree on screen to look at them side by side, because a good amount has changed here. So on the first row, the only change is how Master Marksman works. So Master Marksman previously was aim shot would reduce the cost of your next arcane or multi. Now it's just a flat passive damage. When your ranged special attacks crit, target bleeds for 15% of the damage dealt over 6 seconds. I think something's up with this. For whatever reason, I've noticed shots not critting and still applying the bleed. So I don't know what the situation is with this, if it's specific stuff I haven't looked into it in detail enough. But this is pretty strong right now. This typically ends up like 5% of my overall damage for a tier 1 talent that doesn't require a global. Seems pretty good. It's possible Serpent Sting and Murder of Crows end up better on single target. Those are wildly the same. So in the raid, maybe you'll play that. We'll see. Careful Aim got slightly buffed. We see previously, well, not slightly buffed. It got changed. It's probably about the same value. But it lost the Execute, which is kind of a big deal in raid. Like the execute damage tends to be more valuable in raid than in dungeons. The burst damage tends to be more valuable in dungeons. So I think a slight buff in dungeons, slight nerf in raid. So it used to be 80%, above 80% health or below 20% health, your aim shots dealt 50% more damage. Now it's just above 70% health. Has some synergies with like playing double tap and the Kyrian Covenant ability lets you get some sick burst at the beginning of a pull with this. If you don't want the explosive shot for more sustain, like if you're not planning on getting a second explosive shot in a pull, a really explosive shot's good boss damage too. But basically, if you're trying to burst a pack, like something like whatever the level ends up being, like plus 10s or plus 15s, it's possible that this ends up being like some nutty burst that Marksman can just like hard carry the damage on trash by using double tap, volley, and careful aim just to blow up the pack before anybody else gets to touch it, really. We have Barrage on this row now. It's moved. Volley is moved to the end row and is much different. Barrage, like I said, it's the same. It just got capped. Yep, everything exactly the same. Oh, and it costs less focus. This is the only ability I think that costs less focus. It costs half the focus now. I think Explosive Shot's probably just too good. You probably won't play Barrage too much. Explosive Shot's capped at 6. Barrage capped at 8. They're pretty close in damage, but ease of use, I think, just makes Explosive Shot the move. This works the same way. Next row is exactly the same. Next row is a bit different. So Steady Focus, actually every talent on this row is different. Steady Focus is now just a flat haste increase when you cast Steady Shot twice in a row. It used to be it reduces your Steady Shot cast time, and then if you used other abilities, it removed it. So this was like kind of weird champ. So it's much easier to use. You just cast your 2 steadies once every 15 seconds. This will likely be very good single target. It's not what I've been playing because I've been more focused on dungeons. Then we have Streamline, which previously was Rapid Fire lasts longer. Now, worth noting, Rapid Fire is 2-second channel now as opposed to 3. So Rapid Fire feels a lot smoother in the rotation. You don't feel so locked down by rapid fire. So this made it feel even less smooth playing Streamline previously. But now Streamline doesn't affect that at all. It's just a flat damage amp to rapid fire, and it makes rapid fire cause your next aim shot to cast 30% faster. A little quality of life, a little boost to rapid fire's damage. This is pretty good too. I actually plan on playing this tonight. For anybody that's interested in any of the live streams that I do, I'm gonna end up playing some Survival Hunter later on, I think. But I want to do a few Marksman Hunter dungeons with Streamline and see how it compares to Chimera Shot. Chimera Shot's bugged a little bit right now and not doing the damage it's supposed to. So I want to play with this a little bit, see how it feels. Because I think it could be quite good with lethal shots and legendary, which we'll talk about after this. Now we have where Hunter's Mark used to be. Obviously, this is baseline now. Marksman has Chimera Shot back. This is just simply replaces Arcane Shot and makes your Arcane Shot cleave because it's Chimera Shot now. Now, right now, this is actually a DPS loss single target to take this talent because this is not scaling with Mastery, nor is it scaling with, there's a little hidden passive called True Aim that you get while leveling up, which is a 25% increase to, I think it's 25. Why can't I find it? 25% increase in damage to Arcane Shot and... I'm lost. I can't find it. Arcane Shot and Multi-Shot, but it's not working on Chimera Shot right now. So, if you notice, Chimera Shot is tooltip damage of 1039. If I swap off and I go to Arcane Shot, it's 1337. Oh shit! My current stats, Arcane Shot is elite. Let's go, dude. So yeah, Chimera Shot, because both hits don't hit a single target. It only cleaves if there's an additional target. So this is damage loss right now, but it's really good in AoE because of the legendary that I've been using. So I have been taking this mostly, but we're going to try Streamline tonight. See how it goes. Next talent tree is the same, other than Binding Shackles, replacing Binding Shot. This is kind of boring to me. Not a huge fan. I would have liked to see like Scatter Shot here or something. But I think they're reserving Scatter as a PvP talent, right? Scatter's still PvP. Yeah, I would like to see it back into PvE content, but what are you going to do? Binding Shackles just makes targets rooted by Binding Shot deal 20% less damage to you for 8 seconds after the root ends. So this will be used in Arena, I'm sure, against cleave comps to try to keep your butt from getting imploded. And the other two talents are the same still. Lethal Shot still functions the same. No, Lethal Shots functions, it's been buffed. So it's 30% now instead of 20%. Oh no, dude. I don't have notifications turned off. I don't know how to turn notifications off. Alright, whatever. Enjoy it, video. So, Lethal Shots has been slightly buffed. It is now 30% chance instead of 20% chance. Both Arcane and Chimera, no matter what you're spec'd into, affect this. This also has major synergy with the Legendary that I've been running. So this has felt really good. Deadeye is a new replacement for Barrage. This will probably be a single target increase. This will probably be a good single target talent to take if you're playing Venthyr. The Venthyr coming in just puts more kill shots into your rotation. Maybe even without Venthyr, this will be good, depending on execute. So kill shot has 2 charges, cause aim shot to recharge 50% faster for 3 seconds. So basically it just gets more kill shots out and more aim shots out, which is so much of your damage. So very good. And then double tap, again, I've played with this a little bit in keys. This is Nutty Burst. Once a minute, you just get an extra boy or an extra aim shot or rapid fire. Very powerful with Resonating Arrow from Kyrian Covenant, which is also a minute cooldown. Seems pretty good. Now, calling the shots is the same. CDR and True Shot. Lock and Load's been slightly buffed. It's an 8% chance as opposed to a 5% chance. Same effect. And Piercing Shot is removed from Volley. Volley feels really good to hit now. 45-second cooldown. 6 seconds, you just drop arrows. Does a lot of damage and also just gives you trick shots. So this actually has use in single target with the Legendary that I'm using. I'm pointing to this Legendary to kind of emphasize how many synergies there are. And that'll kind of show you why I've been using the Legendary I've been using. But anyways, this gives you trick shots. It also allows us to hit 2 targets. So if there's 2 targets, normally we cannot put up the trick shot buff because multi-shot has to hit 3 targets for it. But volley lets us get 2 aim shots off. I've been playing my character specifically to have enough haste. When I scale up in the dungeon, I forget what the exact value is. But basically, you want your haste to be at a point, from what I can tell, where you can always get 2 aim shots off inside your volley. It's a big boost in a 2-target cleave. It's very good in single target with the legendary that I'm playing. And obviously in AoE, it lets you fit in 2 aim shots in your volley before you have to multi-shot rapid fire to get your focus back, which feels really good on pulls that you have volley for. I think volley by itself has done a lot to increase the smoothness of the rotation and just like the general feel of the spec. So with that said, let's bring over the legendary page and we'll talk about legendaries. So I'll talk about the ones I'm not using and then we'll dive into the one I am. So we have the generic ones, which are Call of the Wild, which is True Shot and Coordinated Assault, and your aspects have a shorter cooldown. True Shot feels not very good to hit, just because you don't have enough focus to spend the aim shots that you get. So it's just kind of speeds up the rotation a little bit, but you don't ever feel like it's making a giant impact. It feels good on AoE, because with True Shot, when you drop volley, you can get 2 aim shots and a rapid fire in to the volley window before you have to multi-shot to put trick shots up. So that feels nice. But aside from that, True Shot's not very good. I don't think we'll see much play of this. Whenever a trap is triggered, gain 25 focus. I don't know about this. Maybe it would be cool. I really wish, there's a lot of things that are PvP talents I wish would be baseline things, like Explosive Trap. I would like Explosive Trap to come back as like a medium damage but uncapped ability for all the specs. Since everything's effectively been capped, you give them like one baseline ability that's uncapped just to do a little bit of big burst on big pulls, but they don't seem to want that to happen. So what are you gonna do? This, you just won't play this, I don't think. Maybe in PvP, but I don't think so. Soulforge Embers. Now this has been nerfed heavily. This was insane for a long portion of beta. This was the play for all 3 specs. I think it's still strong enough that it's probably the move for Beast Mastery and Survival, the way I understand it. Marksman happens to have a good legendary, maybe a few good legendaries. I haven't done enough single target testing to really know about all of them yet, but this may see some play in raid. Any low target cleave where you're not reliably putting up trick shots, this will probably be better than what I've been using. But typically with single target stuff, I try not to dive too far into the gameplay of testing on beta, just because usually a computer is just going to figure it out for you, right? You wait for sims for single target. It's very easy to create a sim that functions properly for specifically one target. It becomes increasingly more difficult to do that in dungeons where target counts change so often. You want a healthy balance of single target and AoE, so we wait for the sims for single target. Maybe Embers is really good. And this Craven Stratagem, which is Feign Death, has half the cooldown and removes most negative status effects from yourself. This is nuts. There may be some situations where you wear this specifically for the defensive value and you sacrifice your damage. Probably not, but we'll see. Marksman specific. True Shot also reduces the focus cost of all your abilities. This is effectively reverting the change they did to make all your abilities cost more focus. I think it'll be okay. Again, I'm going to wait for single target sims to really make a judgment on these in raid. I do not think it is the move in Mythic Plus. I just don't think True Shot has as much value. Volley's a bigger cooldown than True Shot. Explosive Shot feels like it's a bigger cooldown than True Shot. Kyrian Arrow feels like it's a bigger cooldown than True Shot. But True Shot definitely feels good to hit, that's for sure. Surging Shots, this was an Azerite trait, I believe. Rapid Fire just deals more damage. Aim Shot has a chance to reset cooldown on Rapid Fire. Not bad. I would play a different talent. Obviously, I don't think I would play Lethal Shots with this because I'm already getting so much CDR on Rapid Fire through that. But this has a chance to be good. Could be good single target as well. Secrets of the Unblinking Vigil. When you gain Trick Shot, you have 50% chance for it to not be consumed by your next aim shot or rapid fire. I don't like this at all. I actually think the value of this could be high, but the playstyle that if like forces you into casting a steady, like queuing up a steady shot for after each aim or rapid fire, right? Because you don't want to. Typically, what you would do is after your shot, you want to make sure you get rid of your precise shots procs and hit another multi-shot, right? Like aim shot into multi, into rapid fire, into multi, into aimed, to make sure everything's buffed by trick shots and whatever. But with this, because it's reactionary, you kind of, you can't really queue up a multi-shot because like you just wasted focus if you keep the trick shot effect. So you want to queue up a steady to make sure that you don't waste the focus if you do proc. I don't know. It has potential. I just think it feels pretty bad to play with. And then finally, Serpent Stalker's Trickery. This is what I have been playing with. This has felt very powerful. Has some synergies that we talked about earlier, just with everything, really. So when aim shot hits multiple targets with trick shot effect, 3 enemies struck by the aim shot also get hit by an arcane shot. Now, worth noting, it does not need, currently, I don't know if this is intended or what they're going to do with this, but currently, we can go back over here since I have this equipped. Currently, you do not need to hit multiple targets with a trick shot effect for this to work. Specifically because of volley. So on single target, you can drop volley, which will give you trick shots for your next 6 seconds, which effectively is 2 aim shots. And those 2 aim shots will fire a free Chimera or Arcane because the trick shots buff is up. I don't know if the wording is the issue here. Like they just worded it, the multiple targets needs to go, but this does have single target value if you're playing volley specifically. You'll get 2 aim shots every 45 seconds that benefit from getting the free Chimera or Arcane to come out. So there's synergies there. There's synergies with lethal shots. The free Chimeras or Arcanes that come out also have a chance to reduce the cooldown of rapid fire. So you have a lot more rapid fires in AoE because of this, because there's 3 extra, 3 free chances essentially every time you aim shot for this to work. Obviously, Chimera has synergy because when it says Arcane shot, it also functions with Chimera shot, and it also feels very good because it consumes precise shot proc. So it's buffed by precise shots after you cast your aim shot. So your aim shot gives you the precise shot proc and then immediately consumes it with the free Arcane shot or Chimera shot that's going out. So this ends up doing, Chimera shot ends up being about 20% of your damage overall in a dungeon. Let's see if we have an accurate, yeah, here, this is a little extra. 20%, and a lot of these are just like free casts, right? That come from my aim shots and just end up happening. So good synergies. I think the talent tree is pretty chill right now. I think there's like a streamlined, steady focus Chimera. These all have potential. Lethal and double tap have potential. I think these 2 have potential in raid. These 2 potential in raid. Careful aim could see some play. Like there's a lot of little changes I think could be made, and a lot of what I'm doing is just guesswork right now too, and just like playing stuff to try to see what feels good. But yeah, I know we're a little long just talking about the base spec, but this is something I haven't touched in so long, so I wanted to make sure I was in depth for my own sake too. Kind of when I say stuff out loud, I understand stuff better. So it's good for me to, while showing you guys this, I ingrain this in my brain. So then, finally, we talk about covenants. Right now, this boy is a little Necrolord ability. I've played with all of them except for Night Fae. I will never play with Night Fae on beta because it takes an hour to set up a character, and there's a bug on beta that's existed for the last 5 builds. Hasn't been fixed, that basically your characters are a ticking time bomb for these lines to just disappear and your conduits to stop working. And in previous builds, we found a workaround where if you unlocked somebody who had 2 choices at the top, you could fix it. But in this build, it seems like they broke that fix. So I'm just not investing time into setting up characters that are going to break within the next 2 to 3 days anyway. This guy I'm a little lucky with. This guy's been alive for 24 hours and has not bricked any conduits yet. Nuts. So if we look at the conduits that we have access to, we'll look at the generics first and then the specifics for the covenants. We have precise shots does more damage. Trick shots does more damage. True shot lasts longer, and your auto attacks have a chance to cause your rapid fire to do more damage. I've been playing with trick shots and precise shots. They feel the most powerful. The tuning on them is the highest. True shot lasting longer may be good single target. This could be good single target. And then the covenant specific one is Death Chakram, generates an additional 5 energy or 5 focus and damage increased by 5%. I think this is pretty good. Death Chakram is a short cooldown. I like this ability a lot, actually. I actually really like this ability. If I had my choice, if I could get Necrolord ability plus Kyrian Soulbinds and the juice box, I would probably do that, but I can't have everything, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to end up going. There's a 45-second cooldown. It chucks out a little Chakram boy. Pyah! That generates focus and bounces to targets. It always hits 7 times. It could hit 7 targets once, or it could hit 1 target 7 times. Worth noting, on single target, the focus generation happens slower. I guess because it has to, there's like time between when it bounces and hits itself, I guess, is how it works. So the focus generation is smoother on single target, whereas on AoE, if there's enough targets, it just like immediately bounces through them and you get the focus right away. So, unsure if that's intended or not, but that's worth noting that that's how that works. Soulbinds are okay. The more I'm playing with this, with Volatile Solvent, where you soak like the life force from boys around you when you fleshcraft, the more I think this is actually pretty good. There's humanoids give you like 6% mastery for 6 minutes, and beasts give you 2% main stat. And you have both buffs up at the same time. So any situation where you can be fleshcrafting beasts and humanoids in Mythic Plus, this is actually quite good. Like, it's a lot of stats. There's some uses for this too, the CC immunity. So while it does have the disadvantage of having to wait till way longer till you get your 3rd potency, I think Necrolord could be okay. Now, what I think I'm going to run is Kyrian. I didn't want to showcase this guy just because I don't have anything set up yet, because I wait until the first dungeon I'm going to do on a new character when I make it, because my old Kyrian hunter bricked, so I made a new one. And I wait till I'm flying to the dungeon to set up my conduits. I'm trying to maximize my time before I feel like I have to make a new character to play the game. But obviously we have Pelagos as a soulbind here. Pelagos is OP as shit. This is 5% verse. CDR, where's the CDR? CDR on the File of Serenity, which is what I lovingly refer to as the juice, the most OP Covenant ability there is. This is just Cloak of Shadows plus Stone Form plus a Health Stone on a 3-minute cooldown. With Pelagos, it's even shorter. When you kill an enemy, it reduces the cooldown of the juice by a second. That's nuts. And then this is like 5% mastery with 50 to 60, maybe even 70% uptime, depending on how many orbs you spawn and soak. Different classes will have higher uptime on this. This Soulbind is nuts. Also have to wait pretty late to get your 3rd potency when you're Kyrian. Kind of weird. The other ones get them earlier, but whatever. The ability, really good in AoE, pretty good in single target. Resonating Arrow, it's a 1-minute cooldown. Puts this big little circle on the ground, and now you have 30% additional crit chance against these boys. Also ignores line of sight. So this has potential to be like, you drop this in arena on a pillar, and you can just pop people whenever you want. So far I've really enjoyed Kyrian the most, but I've also played Venthyr. We'll show you Venthyr real quick. I think Venthyr has an opportunity to be pretty strong in the raid. It's pure single target. Has no AoE value, which is why I only spent a few dungeons playing it. I was hoping that I could shore up the single target, because the single target with this build for Marksman is not very high. Some of that stems from Chimera Shot being bugged, like I said, just doing less damage and being straight up a DPS loss to take the talent. But I think it feels pretty good to play. I'm actually having a really, really good time. I guess I'm not near a target dummy, so we'll just talk about this. So Flayed Shot. This is a 30-second cooldown. It puts a 20-second dot on the target that deals shadow damage. And whenever it ticks, it has a 15% chance to activate kill shot, basically. Kind of like the sudden death talent that warriors have had forever. So just gives you free kill shots. Again, this will have maybe some synergy with Deadeye. It should be very good single target. Just firing off free kill shots for... Or not free kill shots, but extra kill shots. Which focus per damage is super efficient compared to our other spells. Oh, there's soulbinds. Let's look at that. And then we have, talk as an aside, the Night Fae is the hunt, which is what, a 2-minute cooldown? Wild hunt. Marks a bunch of stuff and they just take bonus damage when you hit them with things. I don't think you're gonna use it. Soulbinds for Night Fae are pretty good. But again, I'm just not testing Night Fae. Oh man, I'm bricked. This is what a bricked conduit looks like, or soulbind looks like. So I have these 4 and I have this, but these in the middle I just don't have anymore. Sick. So yeah, Thrill Seeker's pretty good. Empowered Shot is okay. Flayed Shot has an increased chance to proc, increases the damage of your kill shot. I don't know. I think my hunter, I will be leveling up a hunter as an alt. I've totally decided that mage and hunter will be my alts. They may end up mains pretty quickly. I don't really know. I'm having a lot of fun on both of them. Frost mage and marksman hunter feel really good to play to me. Could be because I haven't played marksman for the past 2 years, or I guess 4 years, so it feels more fresh than it might for somebody else. Because there really isn't much changes from BFA. Let's keep that in mind. Like if you played marksman right now in BFA, it's not much is changed. The legendaries don't really have significant gameplay impact. They have synergies with a lot of passive stuff that you do anyway, but they don't really affect your gameplay too much. So, and the covenant abilities don't really either. You kind of just hit them on cooldown. One gives you burst window, one gives you focus back, one procs kill shots, which I guess that has gameplay impacts, but I will be leveling one of these up. I believe I'm going Kyrian just because I love the juice, man. That freaking juice box, dude, is so nuts. It's I don't know if they're gonna do something about it or they're just gonna leave it as nutty as it is, but I love the juice. So, with that said, if you have any other questions, if I said anything wrong, you want to flame me, please let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. You know what to do. And then if you want to check me out tonight, I'm going to play a few dungeons when I go live in a couple hours as marksman still, I think, before we transition over to playing either survival hunter or maybe some frost DK. Or I'm just going to have too much fun playing marksman. I just play marksman all night. But I'm going to try out streamline tonight so I can have some more feedback. But I wanted to get this video up. I feel like I had enough time on marksman. I could kind of speak about it. So yeah, hope I helped you guys out. I'll see you on the stream, or I won't. Either way, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you later.